So I want to give you an update. Today is September 20th. Of course, you can see the time up there, 9:43, and we are still in the feast season. So, as I always say, it could pop off at any twinkling of an eye, okay? But we will go through those that mock and scoff, even the believers, so-called believers that do it. You got unbelievers that do it as well. But here is a guy that his video was also shared by this lady here, Lakeisha. But he's getting ready to read to you the same article that I was reading. And I'm going to play this in its entirety. You don't need to see me on this screen because I want you to hear him in his entirety, see everything he has up here. So let's get ready to push play, and I want you to listen because the Most High said, he did say, watch Israel so that you would know the season or equals the hour, however you want to equate that. But folks, everything is lined up. Okay, everything is ready. I know the scoffers and mockers are already attacking. Where is your rapture? Listen, in God's time, I've been saying on this channel, no man knows the mind of God. How can the creator know? How can the created being know what the creator is up to? Because we do have an adversary, and his name is Satan himself. But we did read yesterday, and I did the video on 2 Chronicles chapter 2, how there's going to be two evil people setting up in the midst during the 7-year tribulation. The son of perdition, and then his daddy going to come on the scene once Revelation 13 is fulfilled during that 7-year tribulation. Somebody's going to kill the Antichrist, and then his pops, the most unclean, is going to assume his body and then sit in the temple and call himself God. And the whole world will wonder after the beast. Okay, these are the folks that never found Christ, obviously, okay, because we know that the Jews are going to be betrayed by this cat. They're already being betrayed by him. They say they've been talking to him. They say he's about to reveal himself. Well, we did read in Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. The snatching away has to happen first before the wicked is revealed. Okay, so check this out.
Deal with this head of the serpent. As I said, a lot of things are going on, and I mentioned this in a video that I did the other day while traveling. And they always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So as we look at the events that are going on, as I mentioned, a lot of things were happening in Israel. They're getting ready to go under a lockdown. I'm going to speak about that in just a moment because that got announced on Sunday. But at the same time, while they're talking about doing the lockdown, we have this Abrahamic Accord ceremony that's going on, the UAE-Israel deal signing ceremony to be held September 15th in Washington. We have Bahrain, Here we go. Bahrain becomes the latest Arab nation to recognize Israel. And Washington has become the latest Arab nation. Bahrain, has become the latest Arab nation to agree to normalize ties with Israel as part of a broader diplomatic push by President Donald Trump. Just trying to put a feather in his cap on this. I wouldn't want to be the guy to be involved in any of these type deals, but it's all a part of the Abrahamic Accord. According to the article right here on ChristianPost.com, peace moving slowly but surely in the Middle East. And many of the mainstream pastors are for it. Says President Trump and his administration facilitated a historic world-changing peace treaty between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. The Abrahamic Accord is the first peace treaty since the Israel-Jordan Treaty signed 26 years ago. This was a stroke of diplomatic genius and applauded the hard work of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the countless others that are involved in this. And of course, they go into a lot of other details in this article. But it's kind of odd because Israel is set to a new nationwide lockdown as virus cases surge. This came out on September the 13th, 2020. And of course, it says here, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Sunday announced a new countrywide lockdown will be amid a stubborn surge in coronavirus cases. Beginning Friday, the start of the Jewish holiday season, schools, restaurants, malls, hotels will shut down, among other businesses, and Israelis will face restrictions on movement on gatherings. Okay? And our goal is to stop the increase in cases and lower morbidity. Netanyahu said on a national broadcast statement, I know that these steps come at a difficult price for all of us. This is not the holiday we are used to. The lockdown will remain in place for at least 3 weeks. Going through the high holidays there in Israel, the fall feast, as it were, is being called on what we have every year. We have the fall feast in Israel. But as you were looking at this, then we've got other issues that nobody's even considering. Well, before I go into this one here on Haaretz, just remember, Israeli rabbi says he's already holding meetings with the Messiah. This was back on August 3rd, 2020. Says here, a recent interview with Israeli radio again featured prominent rabbis explaining that the Messiah is just about to reveal himself. Rabbi Yaakov Zisholtz on Sunday told religious broadcaster Radio 2000 that Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky recently told him that Kanievsky is already in direct contact with the Messiah. To understand why religious Jews are taking this serious, it's important to know that Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky is considered one of the 2 or 3 top rabbis of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community in Israel. And he says here, this is actually from Rabbi Zholowitz, the process of redemption is about to start happening very quickly and at a fast pace. It is important that people remain calm and steady and to act properly at the right time, in the right time. There are potential Messiah in every generation, and there are righteous men who know precisely who it is. This, of course, true in this generation. Getting the word out now that the Messiah is closer than ever is a matter of life and death. Haven't you heard, Gog and Magog, that what is going to happen very soon? Right now, the situation is explosive, more than you can possibly imagine. Everyone needs to know whether they are on the inside or if they are going to be left out. All right, now, these things are going on, already claiming that they're meeting with the rabbis. Now Israel's going under a lockdown. And, of course, the Times of Israel published about a week ago, officials mulled the Temple Mount closure as the old city declared a COVID-19 red zone. And then we have the article on Haaretz. Israeli health minister's cure for COVID-19 is the Messiah. Interesting, right? The Messiah is the cure. We are praying and hoping that the Messiah will arrive before Passover. Now that, of course, was back during the spring feast. I am sure the Messiah will bring us out. God brought us out of Egypt. Soon he will go out in the freedom, and the Messiah will come and redeem us from all the troubles of the world. Remember, the coronavirus is the word for crown. These things are not just happening by chance. But look at all these lockdowns. Again, they're going under lockdown. Need I remind you of one of the friends of mine in Israel that shared some insights with me that was going on back on July 16th, as you can see on the letter here. Israel is going back on lockdown because of China virus. This was in July. August, September, here we are. We know about this, 6 weeks before they announced it to the public? However, much of the virus cases are being embellished and not all accurate. There is some truth to it, and it's valid in a way, but it's not what it really is really going on. Israel, notice that, it's not what is really going on, right there. Israel wants all its people at their homes and their neighborhoods because Iran, Hezbollah, Yemen may attack Israel. What I was TTT, which means told, is that Israel fears all their people being stranded in different cities and regions away from homes and family. Israel doesn't want people stranded on roads with no food, water, medication away from kids, so they're locking everything down as soon as possible. Directly told to me, Iran generals' leaders have been told to overthrow religious creeds and take back their government and society, or attacks will continue and get worse. They have been given the ultimatum, and the U.S. and Israel are going to follow through fully until Iran has a coup or it is destroyed. In the green right here, it is believed that Iran will attack Israel with chem and biological and nukes if this escalates. Oh, they're saying that Iran doesn't have a nuke yet. I've told you for years they have nuclear weapons. This is why Israel is going on lockdown. This is why, because of the war. What was that article speaking about? Remember the Gog and Magog? Messiah's got to come. Without alarming the population, China virus is valid, but is convenient excuse to herd and corral the people for their own safety. And Russia's been told too they will have all destroyed in Syria if they don't stand down or scale back. So we go back and we see the titles. The Messiah is the cure for COVID-19. That was back in the fall. Excuse me, the spring. Officials multiple Mount closure as Old City declared a COVID-19 red zone. Getting ready for war is what they're getting ready for. Now comes the interesting thing. Israeli rabbis says he's already holding meetings with the Messiah. We know this, August the 3rd. Just shared this information with you just a second ago. But if you remember, here's where the big issue comes. Netanyahu is supposed to be the man that hands over the keys to the Mashiach. They've got to get a Gog and Magog war going as well if they're going to make it look like prophecy's being fulfilled, right? See, the lockdown will remain in place for at least 3 weeks. Where was it? The one that I just shared with you a moment ago. I lost my place on it there. Okay, I just have to continue on here with this. Now let me remind you what the video says here, where Netanyahu is meeting with the Rebbe, as he's known, Menachem Schneerson. Of course, he's passed away, but this is where we get the Noahide laws. And Netanyahu obviously is a representative of the Chabad organization because he made sure that these got passed. Much success. I have seen you a long time. Blessings and success. A double portion of benediction. I came to ask your blessing and help in everything, in all areas, both personal and political. Not that you can't read this. Since we last met, many things have progressed, the Rabbi says. Many things have progressed. What hasn't changed, however, is that the Messiah still hasn't come. So do something to hasten his coming. We're doing, he claims. Apparently it's not enough. Since many hours have already passed today, he's still not here. But there's still a few hours left in the day. So try. Okay. The point is, you have to understand, that is part of the ideology in Orthodox Judaism. In order to bring about the Messiah, bad things must happen.
So what they're saying is we need to create a false flag in order to bring about their fake Messiah, the son of perdition.
Let me continue on. The Rebbe's message to Netanyahu, a prophecy for today. Now, of course, this was 2 years ago. But notice what he says, in a special interview with Arutz Shiva, Rabbi David Nachassan, a close friend of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, spoke about Netanyahu's connection to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and said there is no doubt Netanyahu will win over his adversaries. What's he talking about? In that particular meeting, which is a different meeting, the Rebbe had said to him that he was going to have 119 different adversaries. So when Netanyahu began to get all these criminal charges brought against him, they now consider that all of his adversaries, right? Around that time, I brought Netanyahu to the Rebbe in honor of his upcoming immigration. It was in the spring of 1988. The Rebbe told him some things very explicitly, as if they were a prophecy. He spoke to him about the future, about what Netanyahu would go through when he arrived in Israel. Specifically, that he would have a fight with 119 people. Interesting, right? Every time I show him the video where the Rebbe is telling him about 119 Knesset members, he becomes very emotional. Rabbi Nachassan added, because it is so accurate, the Rebbe told him explicitly that he would come to Israel and fight 119 adversaries. The Rebbe is telling him what will happen in the future.
Okay, folks, so there you saw that video, a guy reading the same article that I read. But in that article, and he didn't read that part of the article, he had a whole lot of good information that we need to be paying attention to. But in that article where the false Messiah, the son of perdition, and because, again, We're not appointed to wrath, ladies and gentlemen, not the church. This is a time of Jacob's trouble because Israel is being betrayed by a false Messiah. So it's getting heated over there. Everything's in place. Son of Perdition is here in the flesh with 2 feet speaking to these jokers currently right now. And they say that, oh, he's going to be the cure for COVID-19. But they're on the brink of war. Do you understand this, folks? We're in the feast seasons, which started Sunday, and then you have some more feast seasons, and the feast season is over officially October 9th, okay? So, a lot of folks say, well, you know, and I got to go back to this. No man knows the hour. This is true for the second coming, okay? We know he's going to touch down on the Mount of Olives, and we're going to come back with him. But what does Revelation 3:3 say, folks? Remember, therefore, how you have received and heard, and hold fast, because you got a lot of haters, a lot of mockers, a lot of scoffers, okay? And these are people that say they believe, and people that don't believe, but more so the folks that do believe. They, you know, their narrative is different. And repent, if therefore thou shalt not watch. What's the world doing right now? Drive down the street, nobody's paying attention, nobody's watching. We're all concerned with sports, getting back to our normal lifestyle. But you don't really understand that the beast system is in play, folks. Here it is, comma. I will come unto you as a thief. Why? Because thou shalt not know what hour I come upon thee. Because you're not watching. So therefore, thou shalt not watch. If you don't watch, he'll come upon you as a thief. So I think the enemy always shoves that verse down folks' throat for the simple fact that Satan knows he has very limited time on this earth. As when he was first booted out of the kingdom for haterism, to put it in layman's terms, his tail took out 1/3 of the angels, a number that could not be numbered. His fallen angels. We know fallen angel technology. The government is using it to make fake UFOs. And they showing them all over, and they put them in the skies recently here in Jersey. So we are, I believe, just like a lot of folks, we are at the edge. We're at the edge. Don't push me, because I'm close to the... So this is where we're at. You just heard them in the video. Well, their Messiah hasn't come yet. So what do we need to do to make him come? Let's create a false flag. Haven't governments always been doing that? Creating false flags? Operation Lockstep talks about creating a fake virus, how it was made here in the United States, have it stolen and moved to China, and increase the lockdowns, continue to shut down the world's economy so we can have what they call their Great Reset in 2021. Elon Musk, 20,000 satellites in space, 5G. I was on that heavy 5G. Put a map 5G versus your outbreak cases. They look exactly the same. So the enemy is setting up his beast system to take place, and the coronavirus is all that was, is just an excuse to beast system working. But we know all the sun, stars, and the moons, all the constellations are lining up, folks. The Antichrist is here. So in the twinkling of an eye, it could pop off at any minute. So stay on your P's and Q's. Don't turn yourself into a scoffer and a mocker unless you have your portion for being a heel and a tool. Okay, don't do that. I said, no man can understand the mind of God. How can we? Can't understand the mind of the Creator. Yet people, we still argue about his word every day. Jesus said here, if you're not watching, you will not know the hour which I am to come upon thee. So if we know that a week is 7 years, and I've said before yesterday, is it possible? The hour means the season. Back in spring, they were talking this. You know, the fig tree generation, the great harvest is at summer or the end of summer when the great harvest happens. Okay. So I want to leave you with that, folks. Stay up. Don't let the haters get on your page and get in your comment box and talk trash to you. Matter of fact, you should welcome them because all they're going to do is increase your analytics and people, you're going to get more views to your information, folks. So stay prayed up and continue to try to win folks over. Talk to your coworkers, talk to your neighbors. You know, this is something that we need to try and get many people into the kingdom as possible before this all goes down. As far as I'm concerned, in my spirit, man, this thing is, hey, it could go down at any time. Okay, anytime, regardless of what you folks say about we're not reading it right. You don't have to read it to understand. You can just look at the time we're in, folks. Then you can read the scriptures and see how it matches up. It said he didn't have enough power. This is what this told the rabbis, the Antichrist, the son of perdition, Satan's son. He said, I didn't have enough power. That's what the guy didn't read. But he read the same news article that I read. He doesn't have enough power. Okay. He cannot be revealed until harpazo happens, until we're snatched, until, what did it say in Second Chronicle that we read? Not Second Chronicles. Let me go back. Let's go here real quick before I end this video. 2 Thessalonians. I'm sorry. My bad. Ooh, she's, you know how people do, you know, foolishness. Okay. Let's go back to verse 1. Okay. This is something very critical, folks. We need to be watching, folks. Need to be watching. Okay. Because remember, let's go back out it. Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. I'm going to stand on this chapter. I know haters don't like it. I don't really care what you hate, what you like, what you hate. This is my channel, okay? My video, on platform, if you don't like what I'm talking about. Because I'm going to continue to do what I believe the Spirit is telling me to do, okay? For the mystery of iniquity already does work. Did you see it, folks? Iniquity is working over there. It's working all over the world, but big time in Israel. It's the time of Jacob's trouble. Only he who know will let until he be taken out of the way. We are at the verge of being taken out of the way, folks. Then shall that wicked be revealed, folks. Here's another part about, and I'm gonna point this out for in this video. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. People say, the second coming, the rapture is going to be another coming. So how can it be 3? That's not the same. I'm going to be back on that right here. Scripture tells us, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. Okay? His coming is after the working of Satan. This is during the tribulation, folks. Because I just read to you Revelation 13 yesterday about how the Antichrist is going to take the first 3.5 years. Somebody's going to pop him, kill him. He's going to lay dead in the street. And Satan is doing this on purpose because he mocks God. What did he tell the prophet Isaiah as he looked up? I wish to be like the Most High. But he can't be like the Most High. He can imitate him. Okay? He can imitate him. Sure he can. But this is very important, folks. When it's going to happen, that's on God's timing, as I've always said. Okay? Even him whose coming is after Satan, with all lying power, signs, and lying wonders. So the one that we wait on, so we're going to come back with him. Okay? That's verse 9. Go back up here again to verse 3. Verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except the falling of the way first. Then that man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition. People, you got to digest that properly. He's going to strengthen the Abraham Accord deal with many after the harpazo, because it's going to cause worldwide catastrophe. He's going to sit, he's going to act. As he said, he told the rabbis, I don't have enough power to act as the Messiah. He's acting, folks. Young and the Restless, acting. Victor Newman, acting. The son of perdition. And then if you throw Revelation 13 in there, he's going to have his little reign. Somebody's going to pop him. And then it gets down here. God is specific when he tells you this. Even him whose coming is after the works of Satan. That is our Jesus Christ, our Yeshua, our Prince of Peace. Important, folks. Yes, we are at the brink. Stand on the edge of a building, 20 stories up. See what that feels like. That's what it feels like. That's how close we are. Okay? That's how close we are. At any minute, we got to be out of here before this thing jumps off. So do your due diligence. Don't be arguing with other folks about what the words say. Everybody got their own free will. Everybody has their own understanding. But we all take different ways to get to work. So you can't come against somebody else because their way had more stoplights than yours and you got here 2 minutes before they. We're all here at the same time, and we're all waiting, looking up. Look up because your redemption draws nigh. It's on the way. Be blessed.